Hey guys, we wanted to give a shout out to some of the people we have met while recording the Nashville Dads podcast. On this episode, we wanted to highlight Brandon with Nashville Restaurant Radio. If you're interested in the Nashville food scene, this is the podcast for you. Brandon has some of the most influential people in the Nashville restaurant community on his show. So check it out. Follow them on Instagram at Nashville Restaurant Radio. Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week we have on Noel Pipkin. We talk about San Diego, being glad to not be in our 20s anymore, how I found out he was going to become a dad, going from one kid to two, and worst case scenarios. We hope you enjoy. I no longer do fantasy football.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it changed how I watched the game. And
Yeah.
I no longer enjoyed watching football, like at all.
Yeah, I pretty much only watch Red Zone.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I don't watch, well, I guess I will watch like standalone games sometimes.
Are you still mostly a Chargers fan?
No.
No? You've given up on the Chargers?
Yeah.
I guess you haven't lived there in like 15 years.
Once they moved to LA, I gave
okay.
up on them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fuck that guy. Fuck the Spanos family.
Is it the Spanos family?
Spanos family.
I feel
it's
like
the same feeling that all the St. Louis fans have about Kroenke.
Yep.
All the true San Diego fans, they feel the exact same way about Spanos.
Well, I mean, what sports franchises does San Diego have now? The Padres?
Padres.
And that's it. And they're going to get an MLS team.
And they're about to get an MLS team, and their USL team is folding, which
okay.
It's very upsetting to some of those USL fans. Which one of my best friends, Nat, has become a huge fan.
Okay.
And he's pretty upset about it. I was like, bro, it was gonna happen. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but he was hopeful it would turn into the MLS team.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because it was different ownership.
Okay. How did Nashville go from, because Nashville pretty much went from USL team to MLS team.
Because they were kind of all the same ownership group.
Okay, and Gary Smith coached the USL team, didn't he?
Yeah,
okay.
So they were a USL team before the bid, I think.
Yeah.
But it was the same ownership group who was doing the bid for ML. And I think they took on new additional, to get the money for the funding to get the bid. But in San Diego, it was a whole different ownership group.
Gotcha.
So, which is not the ideal way to go,
No.
because you piss off a lot of the fans.
I mean, like, it's been, I remember I went to a couple of USL games whenever Nashville was the old logo and everything. And to know that, like, I mean, it's hard not to love Taylor Washington because of him playing on the USL team.
I mean, it was the first time there had been, like, besides like an indoor team, professional soccer team in San Diego, which San Diego is such a huge soccer city.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I've never been to California.
Yeah. Well, so it's right next to the border, right? So we border Mexico.
Oh,
so we border Tijuana. So like, even when I was in high school, we had kids who were probably living in Tijuana.
Oh, okay.
Who would cross the border.
Gotcha.
Or live on the other side of the border and play. So like, and for like a long time, the U.S. Development Olympic program, soccer, is based in San Diego.
Okay.
So like, it is some of the best teams in the country are San Diego. Like, you can play year round. Yeah. So like weather is associated with it. The amount of like Hispanics and Latins. Yeah. It's this weird. It's not weird, but like it's one of the better hot spots of soccer. Just like San Diego is just such a shitty professional sports town.
Is it really? Yeah. I mean, they only have like one professional sport now, so
there's just too many other good things to do.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that like the other month of like, do you want to go to a Chargers game? Or you could go surfing or to the mountains. Yeah,
or do any sort of free thing in beautiful San Diego.
Yeah, or like whenever.
Or you can go see a team suck.
And
pay a lot of money, and traffic sucks.
Yeah, we spent that month out in Denver, and it was like, do you want to go pay $5 to go to a state park that has mountains in the background and a lake? And you're like, yeah, that's worth $5. Why not?
Or like all the beach hiking. I mean, it's just one of those weird things where like you would think San Diego would be a really great sports town. Yeah. And like the fans are pretty good. Just if your team sucks, there are so many other options. Why would you go waste your time, money for a shitty thing? It's not like no, like it's not like Green Bay where there's nothing else to do.
No, I mean, like being from
right?
Indiana, if the Pacers are bad that year, you still go to the games.
You still go because
it's during like fall and winter.
Yeah, what else is there to do? Exactly. Yeah. So it's one of those weird things. Like they should have had a soccer team forever. Like they're gonna smash. Like the USL team there smashes.
Okay.
The MLS team they'll get on board. Like all of those fans, even though they might be butthurt, they're all going to get on board.
Yeah.
Once they realize,
once they're done pouting,
oh, I can go see Messi, right? Yeah. Like, oh, it's a better league. There's better talent. The games are better. Like, you'll get over your butthurtness and you'll become whatever the team is going to be called.
I feel like what I always notice the difference between the USL team of Nashville and the MLS team is just first touches.
Yeah.
And the ability to connect passes.
100%. Yeah. First touch is huge, right? Yeah. So that's 100%.
I feel like I remember being at First Horizon Park, watching the ball land on someone's foot and just basically go out of bounds. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I would be if I was trying to trap the ball right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see. But I'm excited for it. The other problem with like San Diego is always a stadium.
Oh, okay. Is it pretty landlocked or not a lot of options?
It's just so fucking expensive, right?
Once again, never been to California.
Yeah, so. I mean, it's so expensive, and so like that's why in theory the Chargers left, right?
Sure.
They couldn't get a stadium built, but really they're just cheap as fuck.
Wait, are you trying to say that like the Chargers were like, no, LA is cheaper than San Diego?
Well, so he didn't have to put any money into that stadium.
I mean, yeah, I assume no owner puts any money into a stadium.
No, Kroenke did.
Did he
so
really?
He paid, he footed that bill, but like he's a billionaire. So like.
He has Walmart money.
Yeah. You might hate the guy, but he's a pretty good real estate savvy.
He's not an idiot.
Businessman. Yeah. So like it's bad because like he doesn't care about the team. He really just cares about money. It's their investments for him.
Also, like 3 of his franchises have won championships.
Sure.
In the past, like 4 years.
But he also thinks, so from that, he doesn't mind spending the money because he understands the return on investment, right? Yep. Where like the Spanos family, they just suck. Like they just suck. They don't want to spend any money.
Yeah.
Their teams are garbage.
The Lord of no rings.
They they get gifted incredible talent and they don't spend any money to get around it. They didn't want to pay for a new stadium. So instead of them paying for a new stadium, they're just basically, having Kroenke be their landlords.
Oh, or do they share a stadium?
Yeah. So they play at SoFi.
I didn't realize that.
They don't get any I don't think they get concessions.
Are you serious?
But they've doubled the value of their franchise.
Yeah, of course.
So I've heard like they moved to sell.
Okay.
So like the Spanos family moved the Chargers there to basically double the value because that's what they did. They like doubled the value of the Chargers by moving it without spending like a dime.
Putting like nothing down to do it.
Yeah, putting like no money down.
Yeah.
They didn't pay for the new stadium. They're really just renting. They pissed off a whole fan base, but they don't care because LA doesn't give a shit. And there's so many people in LA. People will go to the stadium because the stadium is gorgeous, or out of town people come.
Yeah.
And that's how it was in San Diego, honestly, because people would, hey, you want to get the hell out of Wisconsin and go to San Diego for a weekend? Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect weather in November. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah.
Do you miss living on the West Coast at all?
No.
No?
Not at all. Every time I go back, I don't miss it whatsoever.
Just good. Just done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very proud to be from Indiana.
Yeah.
But I haven't lived there since 2006. So it's a weird balance of like, I'm super proud to still follow every Indiana sports team.
Yeah.
But if you're like, go move back, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Like I definitely like hold on to the Padres, right? Yeah. But like if Nashville ever got a team,
You'd switch.
Yeah. Like I'd say I'm a Titans fan.
Okay.
But like to me, the Titans and the Chargers are like the exact same franchise.
Really?
Yeah. Like not great ownership.
Yeah.
They always think they're going to be better than they actually are. And they never win anything.
No.
But they always have some like crazy good talent, right?
Yeah.
Like an incredible player or two. And there's always high hopes. And even though I do think Vrabel is a really good coach, like I think he's a really, really good coach.
I think there's this weird tier in the NFL where like you go 10-6 or like 10-7, where you win your division, but then you go out in the first round.
Yeah. Well, because he's a really good coach, his team doesn't have enough talent to
get over the hump.
Get over the hump, which is the GM's fault there, which is also San Diego's fault. They always had some bad GMs, but I don't know. No, I don't miss California. Like we've gone back, like we went to LA for a week to see Taylor Swift.
Wait, you saw Taylor Swift in LA?
Yeah.
Which venue did she play at?
SoFi.
Was that pretty legit?
SoFi is incredible.
Okay,
cool. Like you walk into that stadium and you're like,
this is it.
Like this is the coolest stadium you will ever go to. Yeah. If the new Nashville stadium is like half as nice as SoFi, which Nissan is a dump. So like
it's not hard to be better than Nissan.
No. Yeah. Like, yeah. It's just old, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like...
Well, I mean, you walk in... I mean, like...
It's 20 years old,
yeah, it's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Whenever we were in Denver, we went to a Rapids game, and I think that stadium was built in 2007 or 2008. So you go from a stadium that was built right before a financial recession, and then you go into Geodis, which is like double the amount of size.
Sure. Yeah.
And you just walk around and you're like, this is a really nice park. And you're like, why? Yeah. It was built within the past 3 years.
I know. Yeah. So I find it so funny. Everybody's like, oh, Geodis is so nice. I'm like... It better be so nice. Like, it's brand new. Like,
it's brand new.
I realize, like, that sounds like a no-brainer, but I'm like, yeah, it's a brand new state. If it's not nice, like,
that's not
that's
a, good
a problem, right?
I want to go to Cincinnati Stadium, like, is it TQL or something like that? Because I know it's another soccer-specific stadium.
Yeah.
And, like,
pretty new.
I'm just intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what it looks like.
Yeah. I would like to go to Austin. I think Austin would be really fun to go to. I didn't realize because we were in LA and I was like, it was during one of the breaks was when one of the MLS breaks. So there wasn't a Galaxy or a LAFC game, but I'd love to go to BMO.
Okay.
BMO.
Is that that's where LAFC plays, isn't it?
I'd love to go to LAFC game.
Doesn't whenever the two LA teams play together, do they play at the Rose Bowl?
I don't know if they always do, but they have.
Okay.
They did
and
this
they call
year.
it El Trafico?
Yeah, El Trafico. Yeah, which is really clever.
Funny.
Yeah,
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, there's definitely like being back in LA because I always thought that's where I wanted to live.
Okay.
After college, and there's
where was it? Greenville,
park.
Texas? Is that where you moved?
Greenville, Texas. Yeah.
Greenville, Texas, is in LA. Not so much.
Yeah. That was a rough year.
Yeah, I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. That's one of the things you learn a lot doing something like that.
I would never want to repeat my 20s. Like, I feel like people are like, your 20s are your best time. I feel like my 20s were like getting out of debt, figuring out how to be a married person, then figuring out how to be a dad. And now, like at 36, I'm like, I think I might have a slight grasp on what I'm supposed to do as an adult.
Yeah. I just made a lot of mistakes in my 20s.
I feel like that's what most people do in their 20s. Is they look back and they're like, well, that wasn't the best decision, man.
So, like, I would say my 20s were super fun.
Yeah.
Like, I had a blast in my 20s. I had a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of freedom. I didn't get married, nearly as young as you, which in some ways led me to, I think allows you to just have a little bit more freedom in some aspects, right? But I just made a lot of mistakes in my 20s, to be perfectly honest. Like, in my personal life, in my career, every step of the way, just a lot of mistakes.
You're just going for like the eldership role when someone comes up to you and goes, no, what should I do with this? And you're like, well, let me tell you what not to do.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, so I can resonate. Like, my 30s have been fantastic. Yeah. And my wife would say, well, that's because you met me, which
kind of true.
Not wrong. She literally said that yesterday. We had this conversation yesterday. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely 30s have been much better.
Much more. It's not just like the word better. It's like you look at what you've done in your 30s and like, okay, this is what I think I should actually be doing with
Sure,
my life.
Yeah. But at the same time, in some ways, a lot of the stuff I did fuck up or make mistakes in my 20s have helped me get here.
Yeah.
So like there's some things obviously I wish I didn't ever do and things I wish I hadn't had to learn the way I did.
Yep.
But there are other things that I'm like, I'm glad that I tried that or did this. And, you know, I wouldn't have been like ready to be where I am today without that, as cheesy as
but it's
that
true.
Is. Like, I hate that because everyone's like,
it's the broken road that led me to you.
Yeah. Like, you know, like I feel like every old person says that. Oh, well, you know, you live and learn.
You live and you learn.
Oh,
you're like, yeah, but you actually do. Well, I feel like we've discussed like before, like whenever you have a kid, how quickly you have to not like grow up, but like you realize how much more responsible of a person you have to be. And there are a lot of ways that hopefully having a kid makes you just look up and be like, oh, I need to not be so selfish in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything shifts, right?
Yes.
Well, you hope, right? Like, because
we've had that discussion before. You see some people have had kids and you're like, dude, you got to...
Nothing changes,
you got to change some stuff,
which is fine. Like,
you have to live with who you are.
It's their life, their kid, their life. Whatever. I will judge you silently behind your back.
Not to your face, but I'm judging you.
Still, you know, like it's 100%. Yeah. I mean, priority shift, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, your children become your first or second priority with your significant other.
Yep.
And that's okay. You know, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
And that's another season of life, you know. It's one of those things where like, I definitely always wanted kids. I wanted a wife and kid. And I definitely, in some ways, I feel like took me longer to get there. But like I said, I also not sure I was ready for all of that when in my 20s.
Yep.
So I don't, I'm not sad about the timing of how things happened either. So.
Would you be willing to tell the story of how you found out you were pregnant or what your week was like for that? Because... Yeah, we had lost some connection. When I pretty much started having kids and stuff. You moved back into town. We lived together for a little bit. I kind of went off, got married, stuff, and then I think whenever Hunter, who's been on the podcast before, he had his second kid. I brought him some food. He's like, "What's new with you?" He's like, "I hang out with Noel." I was like, "What's Noel up to?"
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, Noel's married and has a kid now." And I was like, "Oh, okay." When did that happen? So, if you're willing to discuss, that's a crazy week in your life.
It's yeah. So, how should I start? So, like. Well, I'll start at how I met my wife. So, met my wife on Hinge, i.e., dating app. The new era of things. Yeah, like I don't know, 5 years ago. God, I can't even remember. 5-6 years ago.
At some point.
At that point, my dad was had been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and was basically dying. Yeah. For all extensive purposes. So my son Smith is 3, just over 3, almost 3.5, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So like 4.5 years ago, it'll be 4 years ago in November. I got a call from my mom that my dad died suddenly. Didn't die of cancer. He died boogie boarding because my parents lived in Florida. Yeah. So crazy call. I flew down with my now wife, girlfriend at the time. Girlfriend.
Yeah, not even fiance.
Not fiance. Girlfriend at the time. Flew down on a Friday. Just whirlwind of a thing, and then my girlfriend Lindsay stayed with me. You know, we were there basically a week, and during that week, my girlfriend says, "I think I'm pregnant," and I go, "Excuse me."
Right now?
Yeah. So definitely grieving, having lost my father very unexpectedly.
And some part of was probably mentally prepped. Like, stage 4 cancer, this
for
can
sure.
Happen.
Yeah. So it, kind of a weird, crazy timing thing, and he'd been, I guess, stable and able to kind of like live his life, which is how he was still boogie boarding. With stage 4 cancer, and my parents had done a lot to try to figure out a way for him to
prolong his life.
Prolong his life, survive, fight the cancer, all that sort of stuff. But my dad was pretty miserable, to be perfectly honest. And the thing he loved was the beach, and they lived a block from the beach. And so he'd gotten healthy enough to, think he could go boogie board, which he couldn't. And I guess he took a wave under and just snapped his neck real quickly.
Dude.
Crazy, like I said, crazy thing.
I mean, I'm sure he spent most of it. He's had boogie boarded.
Surf, boogie boarded, scuba dive. Was
so
huge,
last thing I would have expected.
Totally unexpected. He'd been doing better health wise. Very, very unexpected.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that week we're at my parents' house in Florida, and my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, I think I'm pregnant," and I'm like, okay.
Cool.
Crazy. Okay. I don't know how to deal with this. So we went and got a pregnancy test under the radar, right? Didn't really want to tell anybody at that point in time.
Hey, Mom, I know
we're grieving. Yeah.
I got my girlfriend pregnant.
Yeah. So got a pregnancy test. Yeah, she's pregnant. We talked about getting married, so like it wasn't something out of the ordinary. Some people might say, "Oh, well, you knocked her up, you married her." It's like, yeah, all of those things are correct. I ordered a ring the next day.
Was it on Amazon? Did you?
No. I mean, I knew my wife would.
So you went to the grocery store and did the quarter.
Yeah. No. Well, so like we had talked about this. This was something we'd been in our
realm
we're planning for,
yeah.
But still, a kid kind of expedites thing. It doesn't have to. But I thought this was a person who I would want to be with and have children with and live my life with.
Yeah.
Cheesy again. And so, we kept it secret, all that week.
Yeah.
We didn't tell anybody. We one of the days we went, my grandmother, my mom's mom, lived about 3 hours on the other side of Florida. My parents were on south of like Cape Canaveral, about 40 minutes on the East Coast, and my grandmother lived in Fort Myers, which is on the Gulf Coast. And so we all piled into a van, my aunt's van, and drove. And my wife kind of had figured out, because she was having morning sickness.
Yeah.
Why, among other things, that's how she kind of, thought she might be pregnant. So she has car sickness already, motion sickness. And then we shoved her in the back of this minivan to drive 3 hours, and she was having morning sickness. So somehow she survived. We survived that trip. But got through the week, everything else, basically crazy. Yeah, interesting way to find out
just
you're going to be a father.
Expect,
Yeah, so I like to joke it's my father, my dad reincarnate.
Yeah.
My wife does not like that, but that's my joke with her about it.
About
so
Smith and his
very very bittersweet.
Yeah, of course.
Very very sad, bittersweet week, but also some good, I guess, came also out of it that week as well. So
whenever my second daughter, Magnolia, was born, my grandpa died the next day. So like in the hospital with Magnolia, parents come and visit. They watch like Holly overnight and everything. Yeah. And they're like, by the way, while we're in town, we're going to fly out to Denver and drive up to Cheyenne because my dad just died.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, I wish I could go with you.
Sure.
I can't.
Yeah.
But like there's this very real moment of like, I don't know what life is sometimes.
Sure.
Because you're literally holding a new life in your hands. Your wife is throwing up in the backseat of a car as the rest of your world is falling apart.
Yeah. Well,
it was
cool? One of the, it was, it was one of those experiences where I knew from that week, this is who I wanted to be with.
Cool.
Because she was there. So they'd found, like, this is probably TMI, but they found my father kept him on a ventilator.
Okay.
Even though he had probably died, but they'd try to resuscitate him.
Yeah.
The paramedics did once the paramedics got there, and after somebody found him on the beach.
Yeah.
So he was basically dead, but they kept him on a ventilator. So my wife had flown down with me, or girlfriend, now wife.
Yeah.
She was there when we took him off the ventilator, all that
moments.
good. Yeah, and then all the way through, that week, and then pregnant, and then still being there. So, it was really that experience that, like, besides everything else I knew about her, that helped, make that, like, this is really who I want to have a child with type thing. So, like I said, very bittersweet, crazy week, but also, very special all at the same time.
Yep.
So,
And you have a second kid, right?
Yeah.
Rooney?
Yep. So Smith, almost 3.5, or 3.
3-ish.
Yeah, 3-ish. And then, daughter Rooney, who's a year and a half, give or take.
I'm sure that pregnancy was a little bit more predictable.
Yeah. So definitely Smith was 100% a surprise.
Yeah.
100% a surprise. Rooney was very much planned.
Yeah.
My wife wanted to have a second. We wanted to have a second child, and she wanted to just knock them both out.
Yep.
And so we did.
I mean, our first two are 23 months apart.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much
close.
like, all right, cool. Holly is 1. Let's see if we can. Oh, we're already pregnant. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're 21 months apart. So I mean, we were very fortunate. That's the other thing. Super, super fortunate to not have major issues, all that sort of fun stuff. So.
It is a very there's a lot of problems I've had in life. I feel very weird that fertility has not been one of them.
Yeah.
Because I think that's honestly why we tried to get pregnant so quickly with our second is we had friends who it took them like 3 years to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing. Like conception is like basically a little miracle. So you can't you put in your best efforts to hope for a miracle, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
So you have some control, but not really any control. Yeah. So it's fertility and trying to get pregnant is a very, very weird thing. Do.
Again, fortunate, in so many ways that you don't realize never having had that issue. But just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Kids are crazy.
I think when we started to try to get pregnant with our second, it was very much the energy of like, okay, we just got through a year of a newborn and a baby. This is exhausting. This is crazy. Yeah. We know we want another kid.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get started. And like, it's almost like your mind is still wrapping around the idea of having a second kid. Yeah. And then you get pregnant and you're like, it doesn't matter if I'm ready or not because this is happening.
Yeah. Oh, I was very vocal. I did not want a second kid yet. Yeah.
You were like, I don't know, man, this is a lot.
No, I was not ready. We were struggling with the one kid, and I was vehemently, from, we're both pretty practical, but I am ultra practical. And so, like financially and we just moved a house and, just trying to figure out the routine. Like I was not ready for a second kid.
Yeah.
And am I really happy that we have our second kid? Yeah, sure.
Of course.
Yeah. But was that transition super hard? Yeah. I tell everybody, I think going from 1 to 2 is harder than going from 0 to 1 personally. Yeah. For me, it was a much harder transition. For me personally, because both of you are always needed. Yeah. There's no, here, have the kid for a little bit and I'm going to go work on something.
Do whatever I want.
No. One of you is both of you are always going to be busy.
Yep.
Dealing with the older one or then making sure the little one is alive,
yep.
Like fed. So I that to me, that transition was much harder. Even though you knew what you were getting into better. I thought the transition was harder personally.
If you ask me what the first year of Magnolia's life was like, I have no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
Heather and I both consistently will be like, what did we do for Magnolia's first year of life? She also had seizures whenever she was born, so we had to give her medicine 2 times a day and go to like more doctor's appointments than we were used to.
Yeah.
It's like literally, like, what did she do? I actually don't know.
For sure.
I can't tell you at all. Am I glad we had kids that close in age? Are they best friends? Is it awesome?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what happened for the entire year of 2019? I cannot.
Definitely. I think that's like common with most parents. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think Holly was born in 2016, Magnolia in 2018, and then Josh is 2021. So it was literally like we looked up and we're like, do we want a third or not?
Sure.
I think we have enough sanity in which we know how to do this now.
Sure.
And I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
But no, there was, I feel like after Magnolia turned 1, and it was like maybe a concept of if we should have a third, it was like, I still like, do we just not touch each other because we're so fertile? Like, I don't know what to do. Like,
it's like we're 100% done.
Yeah.
Which I have not gotten the snip yet.
Not scientifically made it.
Yeah. My wife is always like, you say you're going to? I was like, yeah. I kind of wanted to get through the first year of our youngest life and just make sure everything was fine. I know that's, I'm a pessimist. I'm a worst case scenario guy. Again, that practical worst case scenario, always have plan C, D, E, F.
Some slight catastrophizing here.
Yeah. So obviously, and I know you can get a reversible snip and all that, but I just was like, let's hold off. Let's wait. Let's figure this out. So.
We had Evan was our like first guest on the podcast. He had been married, had a kid, had a vasectomy. Yeah. They got divorced. He got remarried, had a reverse vasectomy, and then did IVF. And now he has 2 kids with his new family. Yeah. And I'm like, he's like the happiest person ever. Loves those kids. Yeah. But like, oh my God, that is that's such a journey to have 2 more kids.
Yeah.
I'm good.
For sure. Yeah. I have a coworker. He's never going to listen to this. So, he had a kid like when he was like 20 or something. Yeah. And he's in his mid 40s now. So like he has a daughter who's in their early 20s. Mm-hmm. Well, he never was married with that mother or anything. Got married like 5 or 6 years ago. They had a kid. Yeah. And then they had a accident and another kid. And he was like, I never thought I would have 3 kids. And he's in his, he's in his mid 40s. His wife is younger, in her 30s, but still, like, it's just one of those things. Never would have thought or planned, but nope. That's the way it goes. Can't always do it.
I think one thing that's been interesting about doing this podcast is I am also a worst case scenario person and feeling like I need to be prepared. Sure. And I feel like a lot of men don't discuss a lot of men I know are worst case scenario people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's usually a characteristic that's put on the mom. And I'm like, no, I'm the one. Like Heather's like, man, that won't happen. And I'm like, but what if it does?
What if it does?
Like Heather's like, this is the worst case scenario. And I'm like, oh, that's like level 3 for me. Yeah. Here's my worst case scenario.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so it's funny. My wife is that, but like we have very different worries.
Yes.
So like her worst case scenario is like, oh, the car is going to jump the curb at the 4-way stop where we live, or it's not even a 4-way stop.
Oh yeah.
And slam into our house. And I'm like,
no, that's not my worry.
That's not a worry whatsoever for me. Like I understand.
It is a possibility.
Yeah. Like that's where like her brain goes, or like, somebody's going to break into our house and murder all of us. Like that's where her brain goes. And my brain is, none of those are, my worst case scenario things. It's more like, oh, I lose my job, and then what the hell am I going to do to support this family? Yeah.
Like,
oh,
and
this
I have
happens.
To reinvent myself so we can eat food.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is, like, oh, you die on the way to work, or something like that. And like, I'm stuck here with the 2 children's all by myself. And I'm like, God, like those are the worst case scenario things I think of.
Same.
But, yeah. She's like, oh, a car is going to destroy our house and we're all gonna die. Yeah. So it's like two different types of worries and concerns. Definitely.
I feel like for your job you almost have to do a lot of worst case scenario of like, all right, if this doesn't happen, what's my backup? And what's the backup to my backup and backup to my backup?
I would say it's a hidden talent, but I don't think it's hidden very well. yeah, it's funny. I started therapy a couple months ago, and I was actually talking to my therapist about it this past week, or the week before that, because we hadn't really talked about job and work and stuff. But just like, that's one of those things that makes me good at what I do. That's what I say is like, that's how I've gotten to where I am, is by always having plan B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever, in what I do. So just understanding that and constantly thinking about it always, whether I like that or not, just no matter what, like I am always, and in this day and age, it's even easier to think about stuff because on your phone you can look at the schedule, or I can look and see where all our trucks are, and
which explain what you do for a living. You do like a
sure.
Right?
So I manage Quest Events. We're a pipe and drape rental company, national brand. Have locations in most major cities. We do pipe and drape for like corporate events, so conferences, trade shows, meetings, things like that. And then we also do like weddings. I think if you're going to have a big tent and you don't want it to look like a tent and you want fabric in the ceiling to make it look pretty, or you're really rich and you can afford the tons of money that people pay us to put fabric into tents to make it not look like a tent.
Not looks like a tent. But
Yeah. So thank you, rich people, for getting married and blowing your money on pipe and drape. I really appreciate it. So,
but you basically like you send out trucks.
So we're a rental company. So we have trucks, box trucks with the hardware, the gear, the drape, and then we have crews that go out and set up or tear down or whatever. So. It's really a logistics job in all reality, logistics inventory type job. It's kind of what I've done for the last 10 years, between this and then the company I was at before that did like large scale company picnics all over the country, where I had people going in box trucks with all sorts of equipment, gear that they would set up. Just always, when clients change things or people don't show up, or
it turns out you did forget the one piece that's crucial.
Or whatever is needed, you're just always, things are always moving, and it's really like a puzzle that, it just has to get figured out every day. And that's kind of like the way that I've started to like realize it and think about it. And, I even go back to like growing up, like the video games I liked were like StarCraft, Warcraft, eventually League of Legends, where like they're strategy games where you're really just trying to figure out the different puzzles to win or come up with whatever to succeed. And in reality, like that's what I do every day for work, is you're just moving the different pieces around to create a successful whatever your model of success is, right? So just interesting. So.
It's the first time StarCraft has been mentioned on this podcast, and I think StarCraft and World of Warcraft almost ruined my life to some extent whenever I was a teenager, because that's all I wanted to do, and both my parents worked, so I'd be at home for the summer just playing StarCraft
100%.
constantly. Fighting the siblings, being like, and they'd be like, aren't you going to be done soon? I'm like, no, this one level takes 2 hours to beat.
100%. Yeah, so it's funny because I still, like, I play this game, like, every night because I can play it on my phone in bed. And it's like, it's basically an auto chess, essentially, type game by the same people who made League of Legends called Teamfight Tactics. But, like, even though, like, it's like a comfort thing where, like, even at night where I'm not like I should be like unwinding, I'm still like playing and trying to solve stuff, and that's just like where I find comfort and security, I guess.
There's like something, it's the same with me, there's something in my nervous system somewhere, some brainwave where it's like, no man, if I haven't played some silly problem solving video game for at least 30 to 40 minutes, then I don't feel like I can go to sleep yet, and I don't know why.
It's like a safety, it's a security thing, and so it's really interesting. but yeah, that's what I do currently. Funny enough, I actually met with Jensen.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday of J-Ma's Burritos.
Yeah, man. Since you both are West Coasters and have
West
an
Coasters, yeah. So looks like
breakfast burritos.
No, we're working on a partnership
That's cool, man.
for us to, my wife and I, to actually become partners with Jensen and his wife Sierra to help them like run and kind of help grow that however we can. So excited about that.
Yeah. So
really
hopefully there's more burrito eating opportunities.
Yeah, there should be. There really should be. Should be a lot more opportunities since I know they're about to have their second. We already have ours, and we're like,
you're good.
Tapped out.
That should not be
tapped out unless something crazy happens. But yeah, really looking forward to that again. Kind of using that same brain, but like we did an event last weekend with them, and it was great. And really looking forward to.
Whenever he was on the episode, he was seriously one of the easiest people
for
to
sure.
talk to ever.
Yeah.
He just like showed up. He just showed up, and I feel like we could have talked to him for another like hour or two.
Yeah,
and still had like really good, like decent conversations.
I know. Yeah, so, no, it's been good. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
so should be fun.
Yeah, I think career stuff is funny. Or Heather and I talk about this a lot. Of the stuff I'm good at in a job is the stuff I don't want to be good at. Like, I'm really good at really boring data entry. I'm phenomenal at it.
Yeah.
But do I like being good at that? No. Is that how I ate for most of my 20s? Yeah, it is. So, like, you being able to catastrophize, basically, is like, hey, no, we're going to pay you a lot for something that's, like, something you're good at, but also you probably don't want to be good at the same time.
Yeah. Well, so, the thing that, like, I would say for me with that is, like, I manage people. Like, I deal with people all day, but, like, I don't like people.
Yeah.
Like, that, but it, like, I'm good at it, even though, like, I don't like it, and it drains me every day.
Are you pretty introverted?
Yeah. I am.
I would talk to a wall, so I don't know what that's like.
Yeah. Like, I don't think most people would actually, if you have worked with me or like, I think my friends know that, but like, like I am social enough, but then also like at work, like, cause I'm dealing with people every day. I don't think people would actually ever think that about me, but like, I'm definitely an introvert.
I think Heather's the same way. She knows how to talk to people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, would you rather just be like reading a book and 100%. Hanging out? Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So and that's actually been the hardest thing with the kids, right? Is like, I can't just go home and relax.
Nope. Because there's always more needs.
Because there's two children who have, unmet needs.
Who are less than 4 years old.
Yes. That they need
there's
from
no
their
independence
father
there.
and mother.
Yep.
Definitely the mother gets a large brunt of that. But yeah, it's so interesting. So
have you found a way to recharge at all?
No.
It's really hard.
Yeah, no. It's one of the things like I talk with my therapist about. She's always like, well, like just take 5 minutes. I was like, there's no taking 5 minutes. Like, thank you. But like 8:00 when the kids are down. Yeah, that's when I get to have some me time. So, which is, it's one of those things. So in this stage of life.
Yep.
So I can't
and
complain.
In like 2 or 3 years from now, it'll be different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like right now, whenever your kids are both under 4, like if you have both kids asleep by 8 p.m., then you maybe actually connect with your wife for an hour, if even that, if you're lucky.
If that, yeah.
And that's even still a ton of intentionality when you both are tired by the end of your day.
Yeah.
And then you're like, cool, now what about you, Noel? And you're like, I have no mental capacity to do anything that
100%. Yeah. And my wife works at Starbucks, and so she goes to work at like 4 a.m.
Oh,
so so by 8:00 she's a vegetable.
Yep.
Which I don't blame her because
no, of course not. Yeah,
get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, man.
Which is like my worst nightmare, ever.
Also, I'd rather stay up till 4 a.m. than wake up at 4 a.m.
Oh yeah, I could easily do that every day of the week.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I didn't have children.
Oh
and responsibilities.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Yep.
I would love to stay up till 4. I did stay up till 4 a.m. all the time.
I don't know why, but I just look up and I should probably go to bed now.
Yeah. Just that's the way I felt like my body clock definitely worked.
It's because you were on West Coast time.
Well, yeah.
So
there
really,
you go.
it was only 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So
Gotta stay up for those West Coast games.
Yeah, of course. That's how it works out. Yeah. Gotta watch USC, even though the game's over by midnight. You still, though.
Sometimes it wasn't. I missed like last week's game because I was exhausted and I went to bed at a reasonable time. And I think the
before
game,
11 p.m.?
Yeah, I was in bed by like 9 or 10.
Oh, man.
I think the game went to like 1 or 2 a.m. because it was like at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
West Coast time. So, yeah. I don't know. Crazy.
Yep. All right. I'm going to start putting the episode to bed.
Cool.
So put on the nightcap. Noel, you've listened to a couple episodes. Do you know, are you familiar enough with the 5 questions?
Pretty familiar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, pretty familiar.
We'll see how you do with them. So we ask every guest the same 5 questions.
Yeah.
First question. What were your kids' backup names?
Yeah, I was trying to prep yesterday, actually. I don't know that we had a backup name for our son.
Okay.
Smith. Smith Henderson is his full name. I don't think we did, like, truly. I think my wife had names she liked that I did not like.
Yeah.
So, like, she had, like, a name Holt that I was like...
Holtz?
No.
Like Steve Holt?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So, no name for her, for him. For my daughter, Rooney, our backup name was Florence.
Okay.
We both really liked it. Oh, actually, yeah. There was one other one, but I don't think it was a real one, but it was Villanelle.
Villanelle?
From Killing Eve. And we would have called her like Eve,
okay,
right? Or not Eve, but Villanelle. But that's a insane name. We were never going to name our kid Villanelle. But Florence was a real backup name, except for my wife hates the nickname Flo.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. I mean, that'd be my first thought is you'd have to name like someone would call like kid Flo.
Yeah,
we very intentionally with Magnolia don't call her Maggie because we're like, but you're not Maggie, you're Magnolia, you're Nolan, you're not Margaret.
So that was, we really liked it, but we ended up on Rooney, which like both of the kids are like last names for first names.
Yeah, they are.
So that's like my wife's thing, and then I got to pick. I guess in theory we picked both middle names together, but Effie is like one of our favorite characters on a TV show, Skins.
Okay. This is British, right?
British.
Okay,
the British version, not the US shit version. The British version, Effie. So yeah. Fun facts. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Do you have a favorite TV dad?
Yes. I've been preparing for this because I've not heard this name, but it doesn't mean nobody's said it.
Yeah.
But Coach Taylor on Friday Night Lights.
No one's done Friday Night Lights at all.
Yeah.
Coach Taylor is a great TV dad.
I'm so shocked that he has not come up
Not
yet.
one person.
But all-time favorite show, obviously. And then I think he's one of the better TV dads in so many ways. Not just as like an actual biological father, but also like as a
fatherhood characteristics.
Fatherhood, like, yeah.
Okay,
character.
Now remind me this of your childhood. Were you allowed to watch much TV growing
No,
up?
not really.
So you more started watching TV like in college, and like that was one of like
when you got out on your 100%. Yeah. I mean, my parents were like really strict about like TV. We never had cable ever growing up, so limited things. It was funny. Somebody mentioned DS9. Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
Which was like
Brandon.
Yeah. I thought that was a great answer too, because my parents like let us watch Star Trek, so like I will watch.
That is so random.
All the Star Trek,
like,
and DS9 was fantastic.
Okay,
and that father figure
was really good.
Yeah. So like I was like, that's a pretty good answer, that's a deep answer.
I think you saying Coach Taylor is also a most people who say like Uncle Phil and all these people grew up watching a lot of TV
for sure,
or were raised by TV to some extent. Yeah. And if you like in the mid 2000s were like, oh crap, I can watch as much TV as I want.
Sure.
That's when Friday Night Lights was like, 100%. Dude, this show is fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're probably out there like exploring television.
For sure.
And like Coach Taylor is a great TV dad.
Great TV dad. Yeah. And I think that's, I've heard a lot of people like say, oh, dads aren't always like characterized very well, but like
no, he's solid.
Yeah, and he had like his flaws, but like he was a good example of how to be like a father, coach, parental figure to a bunch of different people as well. So big fan.
With the writer's strike from this year, one of my favorite tweets was like, do you guys remember what happened the last time there was a writer's strike? The random murder in Friday Night Lights, in which was that Landry?
Season.
Was that like
that
was
season was
worst?
Really bad. Yeah.
Do you guys want to watch a random side character murder someone and then be scared about it for the rest of the season?
Yeah,
I don't. That's in the writer's strike.
That season, you just like need to like
just wipe it clean.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like them like a year and a half to recover from that season.
I feel like almost every show has a season that's kind of like what were y'all thinking? Yeah. But that one was really bad.
Community,
really bad.
It's season 4. Because at the end of season 3, they fired Dan Harmon, then hired on different showrunners, then brought him back for season 5. Yeah. And like season 4, you're just like, it's almost like everyone is in every episode is like, we're sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
I know. Yeah.
We'll figure it out later.
It's weird. It's really weird how that happens. But
it is. So next question.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite kids show or movie?
Oh, yeah. I didn't prep this one.
Sorry.
No. Like I don't know that I necessarily have one that I like have strong feelings about yet, because we still limit like our kid so much of what he can truly watch. I feel like that he's just started watching like Paw Patrol, which I think is kind of annoying, but like
it's not awful.
Like we like I
it's
don't feel like we like
but it's
don't feel like we let him watch anything that is that bad, or even like listen to like truly like.
That's my backup question. Is there any kids song where you're just like, oh my god, I don't want to hear this song again?
No, for us it's a book.
Oh really?
Yeah, that we never want to read again.
Which one is it?
Oh, so
you've blocked it out of your memory.
Aunt, my I guess actually my brother and his family got him. Oh gosh, I forget what the actual brand is, but we call it Busy Busy People. They're like, I feel like they're like British-ish books, but it's so long. There's so many different storylines going on.
It's almost like Richard Scarry.
Yeah, it's Richard Scarry. It's a Richard Scarry book.
Yes, and those books are like 50 pages long and about 300 words per page.
The big ones
I know exactly which one you're
there's
talking
littler
about.
ones.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one so we had like it was called Busy Busy People by Richard Scarry.
Yes.
A smaller one that's not that bad, like paperback. Then for his birthday in July, my brother and his family got him this what we call the big Busy Busy People one that takes you like 30 minutes.
And they also like, if I'm thinking of the same one, it's like, here's this cat. They're from France. Here's what they like to do in France.
Yeah, so it's all like car related one. It's not a cat one.
Okay.
It's like cars and construction. Like it's cool. It's all stuff he likes, but there's like 5 different storylines going on, right? So I just picked the one that is most consistent, because not every storyline is on every page and like all that. So we can't stand that book now, like, because we read it every night for like 2 months, and it takes you 30 minutes to get through it.
It's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah, so like that's what I would say. It's like that book. Like my wife literally now is like, we will read anything except for that.
Have you hidden it in your house yet?
We haven't, because like he'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And it's just easier to just say, sorry, you're just
okay.
We read it for like 2 months straight.
Yeah.
Plus the other 2 Busy Busy People books, we call them, because we didn't call them Richard Scarry, because the title of the one is Busy Busy People. So we just said, Busy Busy People.
I've hidden books in our house before.
Oh yeah, we have. We just like that one is. Yeah, we just
whenever your kid asks for it later,
it's
different. Whereas we had this book called like Walter the Farting Dog, in which is a dog that farts and scares away robbers, and that's the climax of the story. So I feel like the 5th time reading it, I was like, this is a really dumb story.
Yeah, really bad book.
And so then it would be like, I just hit it one day, and then like they didn't ask about it, and I was like, I'm good.
I mean, we have hid books. We just, I don't know why we didn't with that one, but like Yeah.
It's also, if he got it as like a birthday present, it's also an event for him to receive it.
Yeah,
it's not just like you picked it up
Plus, he has
day.
the other two, so then he'd want to read all three.
You got to go all in on hiding it, so.
Oh, yeah. But that book, never again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite kids toy? Like when your kids play with it, you actually enjoy playing with it?
I think like he has like the like magnet, like Connect type
like
things.
magnet tiles.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. And then obviously like Duplos are fun because he's always like, build this, and I can build it in like 10 seconds because I grew up playing with Legos, and my wife is like, how did you do that so quick? I was like,
I didn't have any friends growing up.
Yeah, me and my brother like made all sorts of Lego stuff. Like it's super easy. You show me a picture, I can build it in like no time. Especially like he's playing with Duplos at 3. Like he's not Lego.
No, it's not Legos. Like the tiny little blocks where everything's super intricate. It's I'm gonna build a castle.
Yeah, he's like, build a house. Yeah, like this morning, you know, he's like, I want you to build this picture, and it took me like literally 30 seconds. Yeah. Took me longer to get all the different pieces because they're spread everywhere.
Yes. I also, if my kids ask me to build something, I map it out first. I'm like, okay, cool. Before we build this, we gotta organize. We gotta get everything set up. That way, we don't spend 10 minutes of me being like, but where's this piece? And you guys looking at me going, saying, I don't know. Are you done yet?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be really exciting once he does get the Legos because my mom has like collected people's Legos.
Oh, really?
Over the last like 5-10 years from like people who are giving them away or like she sees them at garage sales or anything. So we have like bins of Legos, and my wife is like not looking forward to it whatsoever. And I'm like, I can't wait. Like that'll be fun. That'll be cool.
You just have to wear shoes around your house at all times.
Yeah.
To avoid the injuries.
Yeah. I mean, again, something I grew up being used to.
You have massive calluses on the bottom of your feet.
My wife, no, she's like, I don't get it. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's fine.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Last question. What moment of your kid's life are you most excited to be a part of? You can do both kids or just a general answer.
Yeah. I think for sure. I mean, there's going to be so many cool things, but I definitely think for my wife and I think when we like take them to their first like concert that they're excited to go see.
Yeah.
Like, and by concert, I mean like band, not like Blippi or like Disney on Ice or like something like that, but like first band that like they're, you know, excited about, you know, and get to take, like we went to Taylor Swift and saw all the kids there, you know, so many kids with their like mom, probably mom more than dad, but you know, like that's something because we both just love concerts so much that I think we're both really excited to share with our children.
Yeah.
There's all the other fun life things that obviously would be cool, but I think that like concert where they're excited will be special for sure.
I mean, I still remember like being in high school and my parents giving me the okay to go to concerts. They didn't take me to them. But
for sure.
Like, I drove down to Nashville one time with some friends to see Sigur Rós play at the Ryman.
Yeah.
And it still sticks out in my head.
100%.
And why does that happen? Why did that happen? Because my parents were like, yeah, you should go do that. Because they want to support.
Exactly.
They respected the experience of what a concert can, like how it can inspire you. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, go do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we always talk about how like it'll be fun when we take them to their first show, like Ascend.
Yeah.
But like it won't be, that'll be like fun for like cooler for us, but like will it be fun for the kids? Sure. But like I'm sure it won't be who they want to see. So like actually getting to share that for them will be, I think, really enjoyable, even if, you know, even if it's a terrible act or whatever. I think just the joy, like you said, of them getting to enjoy that, and something that's been so important to my wife and I. So yeah,
I think my second or third concert was my dad worked for Pepsi growing up.
Yeah. And
like Roberts Stadium was like a venue in Evansville.
Sure.
And Incubus played, and my dad was able to get the box tickets to go see Incubus. So we got to like take me and two of my friends to go see Incubus.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the entire time he was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
He's like, not bad. There's like pretty good music, pretty good band. It's really like to be able to provide an experience that your kids will remember later on in life.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah. Well, and so I think it's one of those things where I don't really remember my parents ever taking me to concerts. Yeah. I had an older brother. I had a brother who is 4 years older, and really is why I like. I mean, my parents are why we like music, but like concerts and things like that. And he was the first one, because he was 4 years older than me. So like once I got to like middle school, high school, he could drive. So like he took me to my first show. Switchfoot. Yeah, I
mean San Diego
Relient K. It was Switchfoot, Relient K, and like some other like Christian,
like Mayor MXPX
rock
or someone
band.
like that.
I actually might have been MXPX or somebody. I can't remember, but Switchfoot, Relient K. Back then for like Christian CCM head was like rad. But like I don't really remember ever going with my parents to like they took us like more like I've been to the symphony and like operas and stuff like that, but not like music like I wanted to go to.
Where you actually bought the CDs.
Yeah. But my parents always let me go once I could drive or whatever, or drop us off or whatnot. But just like I don't have that memory, but I would like to have that memory with my children. Yeah. So
I'll be interested to see that for my kids because I have a brother who's 6 years older than me. And pretty much all of my taste in music is because we shared a room.
100%.
So like whenever I was in third grade, I was listening to Radiohead and Violent Femmes. And so like that's why I'm the way I am. Is because of having an older brother who more or less exposed you to culture to some extent. So I'll just be intrigued whenever my girls get older. Like who's going to take lead? Is it going to be Holly? Is it going to be Magnolia?
Yeah. Well, so that's one of the things is like I realize how old I keep getting. When it comes to music, like I don't know any new acts
what
now.
Is like TikTok, by the way? I'm still trying to figure it out.
I know. I'm a sad dad, right? Like that's what we are.
The National all day and zone out.
Pretty much. Like I was like, by the time my kids, like, hopefully they're showing me cool stuff, which would be like the other fun thing is like, hopefully they're finding out about, I say, cool bands or whatever, good bands, and like then I'll get to experience that through them, type thing. So. Because my parents definitely like showed us music, just not like we didn't take us to shows per se of that sort.
So. My dad letting me listen to like David Bowie and stuff like that. Growing up. I knew it was good music. Didn't fully respect it until my 20s.
Beach
but like,
Boys, like going through my dad's record collection now.
Yeah, there's good stuff there.
Oh man!
But when you were like 15, did you want to listen to the Beach Boys?
No idea. No.
At 35, do I? Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're phenomenal songs.
I mean, like my dad had all the Beatles records. Like obviously you're probably not going to see them in the 90s, right? But like that, appreciation of all that is definitely something that's fun. So
nice,
cool.
Well, Noel, thanks for coming on. Do you want to promote your like Instagram handle or anything? I don't feel like you do a ton on Instagram.
No,
so
really. I mean, I'm on Instagram, but like it's just for fun.
We'll tag you in the post. We'll see if anyone cares about you.
No, I don't. The only thing would be like the burrito, J-Ma's burrito. Yeah.
Start following them on Instagram.
Start following them as we get more and more involved with that. Man. So looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Noel,
cool.
Thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you, dude.
Thanks again for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Nashville Dads and to subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify podcast. We record at New Light Podcast Studio and episodes are produced by me, Devin.